I am Joseph Onyango, Professor of Change Management at Strathmore University, based in the Business School. And my main areas of research and teaching interest are strategic change management, organizational behavior, and people optimization. For today, I want us to have a reflection on lifelong learning and really why lifelong learning is becoming important for us within the organization and the context where we are today. So when we look at what's happening in the business environment and the world of work, we realize that lifelong learning is becoming the new currency. And why the new currency? Because we need to invest in the intangible assets. And in this case, therefore, learning is no longer a KPI that is measured by HR or by the organization, but it's becoming a mindset and a way of working that permeates every aspect of our being in the world of work, in our societies, and what we do around as we live by. There are a number of myths that are currently identifiable when people are learning. For instance, confusing having a certificate vis-a-vis the competence, which then that is false. But also whether people really like learning or people hate learning, and we realize that people like learning, it's only that people hate irrelevant learning. The other myth is who is responsible for our learning within the organization. It is not the HR or the performance manager that is responsible for the learning, but every individuals are responsible for their learning because we have to invest in ourselves to be relevant. So therefore, it will be imperative for leaders to really look at how do we enable lifelong learning. And to do this, 4 areas to point out. Number 1, leading by example, where leaders themselves within the organization are also demonstrating that they are learning something new, not only learning but also learning how to learn so that they will lead effectively. Beyond the leaders learning, how much have we invested on our learning systems, where we allow people to learn but also put a culture of test to fail, where we are able to quickly practice our learning. We say this because the forgetting curve is increasing because of the busyness of our nature of life, and therefore anything else that we learn and we do not practice in the near future, we forget it. But then also the individuals within the organizations should be able to develop a loop where we are able to share our learnings, we are able to get feedback, but as well we are also able to develop community of practice and communities of learning within the organization in the spaces of our practice. And then finally, to enable this, we need to develop what I call a mechanism for measuring return on investment, because learning for learning's sake does not add value, but we learn to improve on what we do, and therefore do we have mechanisms for measuring ourselves for every investment that we put on learning. As institutions are diversifying and are putting more investment, and this is also depicted in Fortune companies as the budgets for learning keeps on increased, but not only at organizational level but also at individuals level, where individuals are practically investing in themselves to learn something new. So when we look at this, therefore, we then need to figure how do we develop the trust amongst the individuals, the employees, the managers, the organizations, and every individual, so that people are learning to improve on what they do and to better what they do so that they can be relevant tomorrow at an individual level, but at an organization level. How do we transform our organizations and increase on the impact that we create in all the spaces that we work? And with this, therefore, learning as part of our being becomes very essential, and everybody is then not left out but to practice lifelong learning so that we improve on what we do, but then create change and grow ourselves and grow our institutions as we better our world that we live in.